2020 was a bad year for most people. Never in our lifetimes has there been such a bad year on a global scale. Businesses went bankrupt, and the ones that survived are barely hanging on by a thread. Suicides have spiked, portfolios have tanked, and terrible incumbent governments are getting re-elected. Unfortunately, with a new American president incoming, and a few natural disasters that are long overdue, 2021 might not be any better. In fact, it could be worse. You've heard about it, but you might not actually know the real details. Joe Biden vowed to axe the Keystone Pipeline, and to move America in the direction of green energy. But nothing tops the Green New Deal that was masterminded by some of the Democratic Party's most fringe socialists. On the surface, it all sounds great. Who wouldn't want to make the world a greener, cleaner place? On the inside, the Green New Deal is every Marxist's dream. It reimagines the American economy by transforming the entire system into a utopian paradise filled with regulated workdays, workplace equality, racial harmony, universal healthcare, and several initiatives to tackle a climate crisis. The deal aims to overhaul public transport, to tax cow farts, to revamp national infrastructure, and to turn farms and businesses into eco-friendly, compliant, and heavily taxed ventures. If the Green New Deal makes its way into law, America will become unrecognizable. The impacts on the Canadian economy would be devastating, to say the least. There would be crippling trade rules, devastating carbon taxes, and zero tolerance for fossil fuels. Joe Biden supports the Green New Deal. Even if it's only in theory, just to appease his younger Democrat voters. If the Green New Deal doesn't wreck everything we value, leave it to the Great Global Reset. It was a plan in the making for more than a decade, but the COVID pandemic has given it the legs it needs to become reality. It has been promoted by the royal family and by the World Economic Forum. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has called it a conspiracy theory, despite promoting it himself.
This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change.
Furthermore, the plan will require businesses and corporations to be sustainable and eco-friendly. So, not only will all of us be equal partners in every single enterprise you build, you will be limited by heavy regulations that significantly limit what you can and cannot do. It all sounds eerily familiar. It's almost like all of this has been tried before, in other countries, with an astonishing lack of success. At first, Canadians were skeptical of mandatory masking, but after politicians and media made it sound like the end-all solution to shutdowns and transmissions, it became a part of the new normal. Even though mandatory masking hasn't done anything in Quebec, where it has been mandatory since July, and with new national cases exceeding anything we saw when the pandemic first began, Canadians have warmed up to mandatory masks and more lockdowns. A majority of Canadians now support more lockdowns and curfews. A little bit of fear, some good PR, and some drama can go a long way. If you think mandatory vaccines are off the table, anywhere in the world, including in the true north, guess again. You'd better be ready to roll up your sleeves for an injection, or be prepared to pay a big fine, and face restrictions for refusing. Now that Biden is the next president, we can expect the media, and activist groups, to amplify and to exaggerate every forest fire, every hurricane, tornado and flood. Biden has already committed to the Paris Accord, and to the Green New Deal. Meaning, he will likely pander to every climate crusader that knocks on the White House door. All of it spells higher heating costs, higher taxes, and a general reduction in our quality of life. 10 years from now, we will all be broke and cold. But climate change will have continued, and China will have made huge economic and military gains at our expense. We will all look back at 2021 as the year that triggered the end of Western prosperity. Taiwan will likely become an easy target for the Communist Chinese Empire in 2021. Now that Trump is heading out the door, China is looking forward to a more polite America, an America that pulls back its weapons sales to Taiwan, and walks on eggshells when addressing China's growing aggression and arrogance. Under Biden, China will grow more bold and America will turn a blind eye, just like it did under Obama, Bush, and Clinton. There will likely be a move against Taiwan in 2021, and America will either strike lightly, or it will strike hard. It is possible that some stronger, old-school Democrats in the Biden administration will encourage a strong response that could lead to a military conflict of unprecedented proportions. It is also possible that America might only act lightly to avoid full-on war. Either way, there will likely be some sort of military confrontation between China and Taiwan in 2021. North Korea will probably go back to its old and defiant ways, now that Trump is leaving. We should expect more brazen weapons tests and threats against South Korea. Russia will, undoubtedly, become more cold and hostile toward America under the Biden administration. With Russia trying to stake a bigger claim in the Arctic, Canada will be on the receiving end of some of that hostility. With Trump out, Putin will make bigger moves, just like he did under the Obama administration, in Crimea. The old order has made a comeback. With Trumpism defeated, even temporarily, we should expect more wars and uprisings that conveniently strengthen America's global supremacy. The old order's work in the Middle East was never finished. So there will likely be more drama that unfolds there in 2021, and onward. For years, scientists have been saying America is due for a massive earthquake. On top of that, Yellowstone has been showing greater signs of activity. In 2020, there were more seismic rumbles coming out of Yellowstone than in any year prior. Most of us were surprised nothing exploded, except Beirut, in 2020. But 2021 is a whole new year. If a massive, unprecedented disaster happens in America, or in Canada, between now and the next two elections, we can expect Trudeau and Biden-Harris to be our leaders well past the year 2024. Neither the Liberals or Democrats would let a massive cataclysm go to waste. Unlike Trump, Biden and Trudeau will do whatever it takes to capitalize on every tragedy. One thing that ranks high in likelihood is Joe Biden failing to finish his term in office. At some point, between now and 2024, Biden may be forced out of office. A presidential scandal, or a health issue, could make Kamala Harris the 47th president. In such a case, we would all be worse off. Although Biden is a Democrat, he belongs to the party's old Clinton tribe, which still believes in capitalism, law, order, and free markets. Kamala Harris belongs to a new school of thought in the Democratic Party. Her views fall more in line with those of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and some of the Democrat Party's fringe elements. Although Harris is not a full-on socialist, she is a lot closer to the far left than Joe Biden. Joe Biden is an old-school centrist who only says words that appeal to the party's new school. But Kamala Harris would work much harder at actually adopting some of the party's fringe ideas. America, and Canada, would be worse off under a Harris administration than under Joe Biden. But, buckle up, because it could happen. Biden is 78 years old, so anything from COVID to dementia could strike him down in less than 12 months. If you thought 2020 was an absolute nightmare, you might want to put on a helmet. 2021 could have a lot more bullshit in store. So, buckle up, and get ready.